Some stories don't end in justice, just in blood and silence. And every crime begins with a choice someone can't take back. On a cold December night in 2003, just miles from the heart of Washington, D.C., a suburban dream turned into a nightmare. Brian Wilson and his wife, Aninga, had gone out for dinner and a movie. A simple date night. Normal, quiet, unassuming. When they returned home to Upper Marlboro, Maryland, she mentioned she wanted something sweet. Just a quick trip to the gas station around the corner for candy. She slipped out into the night, expecting to return within minutes. She never came back. By 3:30 a.m., panic was setting in. Brian called 911, his voice tight with worry. "My wife left around 11:30 to go to the store, and she's still not back." When police arrived, Brian retraced his steps. He'd fallen asleep on the couch, woke up to an empty house, and started searching. He called her phone. No answer. Drove to the nearby Shell station. Nothing. Circled the neighborhood. Still nothing. Hours later, 15 miles away in northeast D.C., a man walking down the 3000 block of Adams Street spotted a green SUV idling silently along the curb. Through the passenger window, he could make out a woman slumped in the seat, motionless. She had been shot 4 times to the head. The car wasn't running. The keys were gone. The window shattered. And the woman, Aninga Wilson, the mother of 2 boys, a church-going bank manager, a woman beloved by family and community, now a victim of an execution-style killing, her blood pooling beneath her, her glasses tucked in the seat pocket. It was calculated, clean, almost too calm. The FBI was called in. D.C. law gives them shared jurisdiction, and this was no ordinary murder. Dr. Brad Garrett, a renowned profiler nicknamed Dr. Death, joined the case. What struck him immediately was the staging. Aninga had been seat-belted in, shot from the driver's side. No struggle, no sign of defense. Whoever killed her didn't need to threaten. She trusted them. Then came the curveball. Behind the SUV, investigators found empty Ziploc baggies, typical for small-time drug deals. Did Aninga go to buy drugs, not candy? It didn't add up. She wasn't known to use drugs. And her jewelry, still intact, ruled out robbery. Carjacking didn't make sense either. Why take the keys, but leave the car? As the FBI scoured for answers, a witness stepped forward. A father and son had seen the SUV parked on the street that night, possibly with 2 people inside, maybe arguing. But tinted windows and the night's shadows offered no useful descriptions. Another dead end. Then, a flicker of hope. A teen arrested in the area with a .380 caliber handgun, the same used in Aninga's murder. But the gun didn't match the shell casings found in her car. The kid had been bluffing, angling for leniency. Another lead turned to ash. With the street silent, the FBI looked inward at Aninga's world. To outsiders, Brian and Aninga were the golden couple. 2 boys, good jobs, active in church. He was a deacon, she a missionary. But behind the smiles, cracks were forming. Friends whispered of jealousy. And one person stood out, a bitter figure from Brian's past, his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his first 2 children. There was bad blood between the women, screaming matches, court battles over the kids. Aninga had feared her. Could that grudge have exploded into murder? Investigators tracked her down, but the alibi held. She wasn't anywhere near the scene that night. She was ruled out. That left one person, the one who called 911, the one who spun the tale of a candy run gone wrong. The husband, Brian Wilson. Digging deeper, detectives unearthed a secret. Brian wasn't the faithful man he seemed. At the post office where he worked, he'd been having an affair with a new mail carrier, Renee Benjamin. Renee described their romance like something from a romance novel. Sweet smiles, long walks, whispered promises. But he kept a crucial truth from her. He was married. When Renee found out, she broke things off. But Brian wouldn't let go. He started showing up unannounced, calling, begging, slowly pulling her back in. Then, 1 week before the murder, he told her something shocking. His wife and kids had been in a car accident. Eninga, he claimed, was in a coma. Days later, he told her the family was planning to take Eninga off life support. It was over. Renee thought the tragedy was real until Monday, when she read a news article. Eninga hadn't died in an accident. She'd been shot 4 times in the head. Stunned, Renee came forward. She said Brian called her the night of the murder, around 1 a.m., asking for a ride home from D.C. She said no. But now, that call meant everything. Yet when the FBI pulled Brian's phone records, the call didn't appear. Brian, when confronted, denied it all. Denied being in D.C. Denied talking to Renee. But the walls were closing in. The next break came from a party. Someone overheard Brian arguing with a friend over a gun, a .380 handgun. The friend later admitted it. He had lent Brian the weapon shortly before the murder. To seal the deal, they wired the friend and sent him back to talk to Brian. In a secret recording, Brian confessed to having the gun and admitted he'd thrown it in the river. He swore he didn't kill his wife, but his fingerprints were already all over the truth. Still, no murder weapon, and no call to Renee in the records. Then, one final piece snapped into place. Brian and Renee had used Nextel's two-way chirp feature, like walkie-talkies. The calls didn't show up in traditional phone logs, but Renee's phone had logs, and there they were. 2 direct connects between her and Brian just minutes after Eninga's murder. The illusion of innocence collapsed. Brian Wilson was arrested in 2005, nearly 2 years after Eninga's death. At trial, prosecutors laid out the chilling sequence of lies, manipulation, and betrayal. The jury saw through the facade. He was found guilty and sentenced to 66 years in prison. He told the world he lost his wife. But the truth? He executed her, coldly, deliberately, because she stood in the way of his secret life. And he would have gotten away with it if not for a single walkie-talkie chirp in the dead of night. She left for Candy. He planned her murder. A perfect husband with a double life. A phone call that cracked the lie. 4 bullets ended her story. But it was just the start of his unraveling. If this shocked you, the next case will haunt you. Subscribe, like, and hit play. The truth only gets darker.